Have you ever woken up in the morning feeling empty? Not because you skipped your coffee, but because deep down you feel like you're just repeating the same day. Again, the same tired routine, the same quiet ache in your chest, like you're not truly living, just continuing. But what if I told you this? In Buddhist wisdom, every morning is a rebirth. The moment you open your eyes isn't just the start of a new day, it's the beginning of a new lifetime, a sacred chance to begin again. And when you realize that, you stop rushing, you sit still, you breathe slowly, deeply, and you ask yourself, today, what kind of seed will I plant in the soil of my life? Because the truth is, you don't have to carry yesterday with you. You can put it down and start again with mindfulness, with gentleness, with presence. I used to begin every morning with my phone. First thing I did after opening my eyes was check emails, texts, and headlines that never really made me feel better. Meanwhile, the softest light of the day, morning light, quietly passed through my window, unseen, unnoticed. That was how I lived for years. Always rushing, always stressed, always feeling like I was chasing something I could never quite reach. Until one day an old monk said something to me, just one sentence, but it stopped me cold. Do you know that each morning you wake up, you're being born again? At first I laughed, but then I was quiet, because deep inside, I knew he was right. In Buddhist teaching, every day is a new lifetime. When you sleep, your body and mind let go of the world. And when you open your eyes, you're being offered a chance to begin again. No past, no burdens, no need to carry yesterday with you. Only if you're willing to see it. Only if you're willing to pause for just a few moments, to listen to your first breath, to feel your heartbeat still ticking in your chest, to remember that you are still alive. And that life, this simple, fragile, quiet morning life, is the most sacred gift you have. But even when you know that every morning is a rebirth, it doesn't mean you'll live differently. I tried. I woke up earlier. I left my phone on the table. I sat still, eyes closed, listening to the birds outside my window. But within minutes, my mind began to spin. How many things do I have to get done today? Will I be good enough, fast enough, strong enough to handle it all? And just like that, my morning returned to what it had always been. A silent race with no clear starting line. A loop of nameless anxiety. Because the truth is, no one ever taught us how to begin again. No one ever showed us how to let go of yesterday's life. We wake up, but our soul is still tangled in yesterday. I used to think I just needed a better morning routine, a cup of herbal tea, a soft playlist, a calmer schedule. But what I truly needed was a deeper way to meet myself again. One day I met a woman. She was 20 years older than me. Her silver hair framed her gentle eyes. Her voice was soft, barely a whisper. I asked, "What's the first thing you do in the morning?" She smiled and said, "I greet the little child inside me, the one who survived another night." I froze. No one had ever said that to me before. No one had reminded me that just being alive, waking up, taking one breath, is already a victory, a quiet, sacred miracle. Since that day, my mornings changed. I no longer rushed. I didn't grab my to-do list. I simply placed my hand over my heart and whispered, "Good morning. I'm still here. And today, I will be a little kinder to myself." If you've ever woken up feeling like you never truly rested, if mornings feel like just the start of another exhausting loop, then maybe this is your invitation to pause, even just for 5 minutes, to keep listening, Because what comes next might change how you begin every morning. Because maybe what you need isn't just another day, but a new way to start it. After realizing that every morning is a kind of rebirth, I thought I had finally woken up. I began crafting the perfect morning: breathwork, soft meditation playlists, journaling 3 things I was grateful for, lighting a candle with a scent that promised peace. At first it worked. I felt lighter, more centered. I even began sharing my morning formula with others, like I had finally found the secret to calm. But a few weeks later, I started noticing something strange. If I woke up feeling tired, or empty, or even just a little off, I felt guilty. Am I doing something wrong? Shouldn't I be healed by now? I pushed myself to meditate harder, to write more positive affirmations, to fight the feeling that something was off. And that was the first real twist in my morning journey. Even healing can become another form of pressure. We think we found a solution, but all we've done is swapped one mask for another, from high achiever to peace seeker, from burned out professional to silent prisoner of our own expectations. And if I asked you now, is your morning a space where you return to yourself, or just another place where you try to be someone better? Are you trying so hard to be at peace that you've stopped being honest with what you really feel? It took me many mornings to sit with sadness without needing it to go away. It took me even longer to understand. Mindfulness isn't about removing emotions. It's about fully being there, even when the emotion is pain. One morning, I woke up with a heaviness in my chest. I didn't meditate. I didn't write anything. I just sat, wrapped my arms around myself, and whispered, "It's okay. I'm tired today, but I'm still here." And somehow, that was the most peaceful morning of all. So I ask you again, are your mornings truly healing you, or just distracting you from a deeper ache? Have you been circling the same emotions, trying to fix them instead of simply feeling them? Because sometimes the most powerful practice is not in what you do, but in what you're willing to stop doing and still remain present. Then came one winter morning when everything fell apart. I woke up feeling paralyzed, not in my body, but in my soul. No desire to write, no urge to meditate, no wish to do anything at all. I just lay there staring at the pale, silent ceiling above me. And for the first time, I heard the honest voice within. I'm tired of trying to be peaceful. I cried, not from sadness, but from the sheer relief of hearing the truth. Because in that moment, I saw it clearly. For all these years, I had only allowed myself to be loved when I was calm, centered, or improving. I only welcomed myself when I was making progress. But what about the mornings when I was messy, lazy, or quietly lost? What about the days when I simply wanted to lie still and breathe like a fragile leaf? I had abandoned myself in those moments most in need of love. Here was the twist I never expected. It wasn't the world that had hurt me. It was me, the part of me that couldn't accept being human. We spend our mornings trying to fix ourselves as if we are broken machines in need of constant updates. But let me ask you this. What would happen if you stopped fixing and simply sat with who you are right now? Not chasing the light, not reaching for perfection, just sitting still in the soft shadow of your own being. I'm not saying you should give up your practices. But I'm asking you to remember this. True mindfulness begins not when you master every morning ritual, but when you stop pretending and start allowing. Allow the sadness, allow the anger, allow the hesitation, the heaviness, the quiet resistance. In Buddhist wisdom, no emotion is wrong. Only our unwillingness to listen creates suffering. So if you've ever felt like you were performing peace every morning, like you were playing a role rather than truly living, maybe now is the time to return. Return not to a perfect self, but to a present self. A self that breathes, a self that simply is. Because every morning, you don't need to become someone. You just need to come back to yourself. And please, don't stop here. What comes next may surprise you. We'll go deeper into the practice of mindful mornings that don't rely on pressure or performance. You'll learn how to stay awake, even when your mind is messy, even when life feels unclear. So if this story touched even the smallest part of you, stay a little longer, because sometimes one sentence in the next few minutes can quietly change how you begin your entire life, starting tomorrow morning. I thought I had understood something after that morning, but awakening doesn't arrive like a switch. It comes like smoke, sometimes clear, sometimes drifting. So I began a new journey, listening to myself every morning. And that's when I faced the most uncomfortable truth. I was afraid of silence. I thought I needed quiet to heal. But when I sat in real silence, no music, no to-do list, no background hum, I felt unsettled, as if some ancient emptiness began to rise from my bones, a loneliness I couldn't name, a discomfort that whispered, "You've never truly learned to be with yourself." Old memories surfaced, mornings from my childhood, rushed awakenings, harsh voices, school bells, stress. Not a single morning was soft, and I began to wonder how many of us are repeating those mornings we never healed from. Are you waking up to live, or simply waking up because there's no other choice? When in the Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha said, "The foolish one, not awake, lives as if already dead, though it is daytime." That line struck me like a blade. I wasn't awake. I was operating on habit and calling it life. Then I came across a study from Harvard, Killingsworth and Gilbert, 2010, which found that people's minds are not present 47% of the time. And when they're not present, they're less happy. We are, quite literally, ghosts in our own mornings. And if you're honest with yourself, are you truly living your mornings or just moving through them? You sip your coffee, but your mind is already in that 10 a.m. meeting. You brush your teeth, but your chest is tight from deadlines you haven't even faced yet. You glance at your child eating breakfast, but your thoughts are consumed by what's unfinished, unpaid, or unknown. You are physically here, but spiritually absent. So I started something small. I gave myself just 5 minutes each morning to sit, not meditate, not breathe in any special way, not achieve stillness, just sit. Like meeting an old friend I hadn't seen in years. At first it was chaos. My mind ran wild, but slowly, I began to see myself again. Not the version trying to succeed, not the version trying to be good or centered. Just me, raw, real, present. And if you're still listening, if you've made it this far, I know something about you. You're not looking for another productivity tip. You're looking for presence. You want to feel your own breath, your own heartbeat, your own morning before the world tells you who to be. So stay, because what comes next isn't about perfecting your mornings or becoming more spiritual. It's about one simple, powerful shift, a way to begin each day by gently returning to yourself, without judgment, without pressure, without pretending. A way to greet your soul again with the same kindness you give a child just waking up, because maybe that's all any of us need. I used to think that in order to change my life, I needed something grand, a spiritual retreat, a pilgrimage to India, something big enough to shake me out of the fog I woke up in every morning. But it wasn't like that. What finally changed me was something so small you'd miss it unless you were really listening. A wooden chair by a window and 7 quiet minutes. One quiet Sunday morning, I asked myself, if this were my last morning on earth, how would I want to begin it? I didn't have an immediate answer, but I knew one thing for sure. It wouldn't begin with email, or TikTok, or scrolling through things I wouldn't remember 5 minutes later. I just wanted to sit, look at the sky, and whisper to myself, today, I'm still here. And so, I began a small, sacred practice I now call 7 minutes of rebirth. Step 1, pause, first minute. The moment you wake up, don't touch your phone. Don't reach for anything. Just place your hand on your heart and breathe. Feel your life. Step 2, acknowledge, next 2 minutes. No journaling, no beautiful words needed. Just ask yourself, what is present in me right now? Sadness, tiredness, numbness? That's okay. You don't need to fix anything. You just need to witness it, like a kind friend who listens without judgment. Step 3, speak kindness, next 2 minutes. Say this out loud or whisper, I allow myself to begin again. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to show up. I am myself, and that's enough for this morning. You can repeat these phrases every day, and you'll be surprised how they soften the edges of your heart. Step 4, a small act of life, last 2 minutes. Do something not for productivity, but for presence. Drink a glass of water slowly. Open a window and feel the air. Touch a plant. Look at the light resting on your hand and know that you're alive. Maybe you're wondering, can 7 minutes really change anything? I used to ask the same, until I remembered what the Buddha said in the Dhammapada. No one can save you except yourself, and that salvation begins with the smallest things. And then I remembered a study from the UCLA Mindful Awareness Research Center. Just 8 minutes of mindfulness practice a day for 8 weeks can reshape the brain, reducing anxiety and increasing self-awareness. Awakening doesn't require temples or silence. It requires only this: your willingness to sit with yourself gently each morning. So if you wake up tomorrow and feel like something in you wants to shift, don't wait until you're ready. Don't wait until your mind is quiet. Just begin with 7 minutes, on a chair by a window, with the courage to greet your own breath like an old friend. And if this journey resonated with you, if you've ever woken up with that hollow ache, or if you've been looking for a softer, more honest way to begin your days, then like this video, Subscribe to the channel because this is just the beginning. We'll keep walking together through more mornings, more truths, and more ways to return home to yourself. Next, I'll tell you about the morning I woke up and no longer feared my own presence, and that was the moment I truly began to live. Are you ready? Maybe peace was never something to chase. Maybe it was something to remember, just like breath, just like morning light. Always there, if only you pause long enough to see it. You don't need to become someone new tomorrow. You don't need to fix your life by sunrise. You just need to return to the part of you that's still breathing, still hoping, still here, and that is enough. Whenever you saw yourself in this story, if even one moment whispered to a part of you that's been waiting, then let me ask, will you go back to rushing through your mornings? Or will you take back your breath, starting tomorrow? If you're ready, like this video, subscribe to the channel, not because it helps me, but because it might help you stay close to this path, and maybe someone else who needs it too. But if you think this was the end of the story, you haven't heard what happened the morning I stopped asking life for answers and finally began listening to silence. We'll meet there soon.